RMJ movie reviews back again with an on-the-fly movie review. Feeling kind of scruffy and cold and man, a little bit under the weather. Yeah, but I'm doing a movie review of Fighting with Family. Um, uh, what the heck is the movie about? Oh, I'm sorry. The movie's about wrestler named Paige and her family. They're over in the United Kingdom, and they've got a family wrestling kind of independent circuit that they run, and they have dreams of going over to America and making it in the WWE. Paige and her brother, and basically this chronicles really Paige's individual journey of making it from doing a family ringside independent wrestling circuit to the big stage in the WWE, or for me, an 80s baby, the WWF. But man, Fighting with Family, this was a fun, feel good movie. Again, being an 80s baby, I'm really only familiar with the 80s era, the WWF era, and into the early part of the WWE era. So I wasn't very familiar with this wrestler, Paige. I wasn't familiar with her at all. But I will say that it really is. This is a typical sports story, a la Rocky, of course, is the template. Rudy, any one of the aspiring sports story. You could even look at maybe films like An Officer and a Gentleman of Never Quitting, and along those storylines. I really liked this movie. I really liked it a lot. I thought it was a very good heartwarming, inspiring story. I know that I've heard that there were other raunchier parts of her life that they left out the film, and you know what? That's okay. I mean, look, it's a movie, so it doesn't have to be 100% authentic. But I really enjoyed it. The movie hits every single beat that you'd expect from a never give up type of sports oriented film. But that's okay. I'm fine with the conventions as long as you hit the conventions well. And I think all the actors in the movie do a capable job. Dwayne The Rock Johnson, I think I know he's a producer on the film, so he kind of pops in and out. But he has a warm presence. There was actually digressing, I've been hearing about the bickering amongst the later Fast and the Furious cast members, how Vin Diesel and The Rock were going at it, and Tyrese was pissed with some of the cast members. I thought that was all publicity, but Dwayne Johnson takes a personal jab at Vin Diesel in the movie, and I was actually shocked. I was like, whoa. I was like, oh, I guess this is not just entertainment. I guess that's legit. Because he took a straight up jab at Vin Diesel, and I was like, okay. And it's in a big national movie. I was like, okay, all right, I guess this is real. I thought it was just, pumping up behind the scenes, for publicity. But wow. But it was nice, and you see some very good cameos from other wrestlers that popular ones. The Miz. Well, for me, the Miz is not the Miz. He's Mike from The Real World. And actually, what's interesting is me and the Miz are from the same state. We grew up in different cities. I grew up in Cleveland. He grew up in Parma. Which, if you're familiar with Cleveland, Ohio, you know that Cleveland and Parma are, need I say more? But anyway, I recognize Mike from The Real World, aka The Miz. I believe his Big Show pops up. I don't know that other gentleman with the red hair and the mohawk. He's from the later part of the era. I'm not really familiar with him. But as far as all the performances are very good. And one thing I will say, Vince Vaughn is in the film as well. I forgot to mention Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn, back in the days like when he did. I've actually never seen Swingers, and I heard of it back then, but I'd never seen the film. I got to catch up with it. But I first became familiar with Vince Vaughn from The Lost World when it first came out. Matter of fact, digressing, I think I put this in one of my other reviews for some other movie, but when The Lost World came out, they actually Entertainment Television. If you guys remember when Entertainment Television did coming attractions and movie specials in the 90s, Vince Vaughn hosted the behind the scenes special promotion of The Lost World. And I never got the Vince Vaughn appeal. I never got it. But I will say that now that Vince Vaughn is like older, I'm just really appreciating him more as a performer now. I'm not as hard on him back then as I used to be. But I just really appreciate Vince Vaughn. I really think Vince Vaughn plays this character very well in this movie. He plays him as a man who is just, he's about what a man at his point in his life would be. A man in his mid-40s who has lived a little bit of life. Maybe at this point might be going through the motions and a little bit kind of tired and broken by life, but he wants to kind of push along people who are young enough to not end up where he ended up at in life. And I thought he played it very well. Regardless of what people say about him in True Detective season 2, I actually thought he was good in True Detective 2, regardless of the convoluted story. But anyway, I like Vince Vaughn much more as an older actor now versus back in the 90s, especially the Psycho remake. But this was a fun movie. I really enjoyed it, and it was a feel-good story, and I think it'd be a fun time at the movies for the family. There's a couple little colorful things in there, that might go over the kids' heads, but still, all in all, fun, enjoyable movie. Goes through the motions, the conventions, what we'd expect, but I still think this movie was a lot of fun. So I highly recommend it to anybody who likes aspiring Rocky-esque sports stories. So thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video, and leave comments down below about Fighting with Family. I'm going to come back tonight with my review of the season finale of True Detective season 3, and there's gonna be 2 other special videos popping up for one of my subscribers. RMJ Movie Reviews. I'll see you soon.